The ballroom glittered with crystal chandeliers and champagne glasses, but all Sanaa Johnson could see was the face of the man who'd made her life a living hell for 6 years. Trevor stood 15 feet away, his dark eyes locked on her with that familiar expression, the one that used to make her stomach twist into knots. The one that still did. She pressed herself against the wall, the red silk of her borrowed dress suddenly feeling too thin, too exposed. Her friend Nicole had convinced her to come to this charity gala, promising it would be good for her to get out, to feel normal again. But Trevor was here. Of course he was here. He always found her. Sanaa. His voice cut through the music and laughter as he approached. He wore an expensive black suit, his light brown skin gleaming under the lights, his smile cold. We need to talk. No. Her voice came out smaller than she wanted. I have nothing to say to you. That's not how this works. He stepped closer and she smelled the whiskey on his breath. You don't get to just walk away from me. From our family. We're divorced, Trevor. You signed the papers 8 months ago. His hand shot out and gripped her wrist. Not hard enough to bruise, never where it would show, but firm enough to trap her. I'm filing for full custody of Amara. My lawyer says I have a strong case. A mother working 2 jobs, barely keeping a roof over her head, while I can provide stability, a real home. Terror flooded through her. You can't. She's my daughter. Our daughter. And unless you come back home where you belong, you'll lose her. His fingers tightened. I'll make sure of it. I'll tell the judge about your depression, your anxiety. I'll tell them you're unstable. Sanaa's heart pounded so hard she thought it might break through her ribs. This couldn't be happening. Not after everything she'd sacrificed to get away from him. Not after 2 years of rebuilding her life from nothing. Her eyes darted around the ballroom, searching for Nicole, for anyone who could help. That's when she saw him. A tall man with dark hair walking past, holding a glass of water. He had kind eyes, hazel and warm, and something about the calm set of his shoulders made her act without thinking. She tore her wrist from Trevor's grip and lunged forward, grabbing the stranger's hand with both of hers. The man stopped, startled, looking down at their joined hands and then up at her face. Sanaa knew what he saw, a terrified woman with tears threatening to spill, her brown eyes pleading. Please, she whispered. Please, I need you to pretend you know me. Just for a minute. The stranger's expression shifted from surprise to something else, something that looked almost like recognition. He didn't pull away. Instead, his hand turned, his fingers threading through hers, holding her securely. Of course, he said, his voice deep and steady. Then he looked past her to Trevor. Is there a problem here? Trevor's face darkened. Who the hell are you? I'm her boyfriend. The lie came easily from the stranger's lips. He pulled Sanaa gently to his side, his arm wrapping around her waist. The gesture was protective but not possessive. She felt herself lean into him, into this illusion of safety. Boyfriend? Trevor laughed, but there was anger in it. Sanaa, what kind of game are you playing? It's not a game, the stranger said. His tone was pleasant, but there was steel underneath. She asked you to leave her alone. I suggest you do that. This is none of your business. Actually, it is. Sanaa is very much my business. The stranger looked down at her, and the gentleness in his eyes almost broke her. Are you all right, sweetheart? She nodded, not trusting her voice. Trevor took a step forward, his fists clenching. For a moment, Sanaa thought he might actually swing at this stranger who'd been kind enough to help her. But then someone called Trevor's name from across the room, a colleague he'd been trying to impress. His mask slipped back into place. This isn't over, Trevor said quietly to Sanaa. I'll see you in court. And when I do, you'll lose everything. He turned and walked away, disappearing into the crowd. Sanaa's knees buckled. The stranger caught her, keeping her upright with steady hands. I've got you, he murmured. You're safe. That's when the tears came. She couldn't stop them, couldn't hold back the sob that tore from her throat. Here she was, crying in a stranger's arms in the middle of a gala, but she couldn't bring herself to care. For just a moment she'd felt protected. She'd felt like someone was on her side. Thank you, she managed to say. I'm so sorry. I didn't know what else to do. Don't apologize. His voice was firm. You did exactly the right thing. He guided her toward a quieter corner, away from the stairs. I'm Logan. Logan Bennett. Sanaa Johnson. She wiped at her eyes, trying to pull herself together. I must look completely crazy. You look scared. There's a difference. Logan handed her his handkerchief, an old-fashioned gesture that made her want to cry all over again. That man your ex-husband, I'm guessing? She nodded. He won't leave me alone. I left him 2 years ago and he still thinks he owns me. He doesn't own you. No one does. Logan's jaw tightened. The custody threat, is that real? I don't know. Maybe. He has money for good lawyers and I can barely afford rent. The hopelessness crashed over her again. I work as a receptionist during the day and clean offices at night. I'm trying so hard but it's never enough. Logan was quiet for a moment, studying her face like he was trying to memorize it. How old is your daughter? 6. Her name is Amara. She's the reason I left. I couldn't let her grow up thinking that's what love looks like. Sanaa looked up at him, this stranger who'd shown her more kindness in 5 minutes than her ex-husband had in 6 years. Why are you helping me? You don't even know me. Maybe I should, Logan said simply. Look, I know this is going to sound strange, but I'd like to help you. Really help you, not just pretend for a few minutes. I can't ask that of you. You're not asking. I'm offering. He pulled out a business card and pressed it into her hand. Take this. Call me tomorrow. I know people, lawyers who specialize in custody cases. Good ones. Sanaa looked at the card. Logan Bennett, CEO, Bennett Technologies. Her eyes widened. You're Logan Bennett? The tech company? That's me. I can't accept charity from a billionaire. I'm not looking for a handout. It's not charity. It's justice. Logan's expression was serious. Men like your ex-husband, they count on women being too afraid or too broke to fight back. Don't let him win because of money. Please. The word please broke something in her. Here was one of the richest men in the city saying please to her, treating her like she mattered. Maybe Nicole was right. Maybe it was time to accept help. Maybe that wasn't weakness but survival. Okay, Sanaa whispered. Thank you. I'll call. Good. Logan smiled, and it transformed his face into something genuinely beautiful. Now let me drive you home. You shouldn't be alone after that. She started to protest, then stopped herself. She was tired of being alone. Tired of carrying everything by herself. All right, she said. Thank you, Logan. As they walked toward the exit together, Sanaa glanced back once and saw Trevor watching from across the room. His expression promised retribution. But for the first time in 2 years, she wasn't walking away alone. She had someone standing beside her. Have you ever had to choose between pride and survival? Between asking for help and drowning alone? Sanaa's story is just beginning, and what happens next will change everything. If you're as invested in her journey as we are, please subscribe and comment below. Tell us, would you have grabbed that stranger's hand? Logan's car was nothing like Sanaa expected. She'd assumed a billionaire would drive something flashy, something meant to impress. Instead, he led her to a simple black sedan, clean and understated. He opened the passenger door for her, waited until she was settled, then walked around to the driver's side. The interior was quiet, peaceful. Soft leather seats and the faint smell of coffee. As Logan pulled out of the parking garage, Sanaa felt her breathing start to slow down. She was safe here. At least for now. Where do you live? Logan asked gently. She gave him the address, her cheeks burning with shame. It was across town in one of the less nice neighborhoods. The kind of place people like Logan probably never visited. That's quite a commute from the gala, he observed without judgment. My friend Nicole bought me the ticket. She thought I needed a night out. Sanaa laughed bitterly. Some night out this turned into. It's not over yet. Sometimes the worst moments lead to the best changes. Logan glanced at her, then back at the road. Tell me about Amara. The question caught her off guard. Why? Because when you said her name back there, your whole face changed. I'd like to know what makes you smile like that. Sanaa felt warmth spread through her chest. She's everything. Smart, funny, kind. She loves art and makes up songs about everything. Last week she wrote one about brushing teeth to the tune of that old song from Frozen. She smiled at the memory. She deserves so much better than what I can give her. You left an abusive marriage to protect her. That's giving her everything that matters. Trevor never hit me, Sanaa said quickly, then wondered why she was defending him. I mean, it wasn't like that. Abuse doesn't have to be physical to destroy someone. Logan's hands tightened on the steering wheel. The threats, the control making you feel worthless. That's violence too. Tears pricked her eyes again. No one had ever said that to her before. Everyone always asked why she stayed so long, why she didn't just leave. No one understood how Trevor had slowly dismantled her piece by piece until she didn't know who she was anymore. How did you know? She whispered. I grew up in foster care. I saw things. Learned early that some people use love as a weapon. Logan's voice was steady, but she heard the old pain underneath. I also learned that getting out is the bravest thing someone can do. You're stronger than you think, Sanaa. They drove in comfortable silence for a while. Sanaa watched the city lights blur past, processing everything that had happened. This morning she'd been worried about making rent. Tonight she was in a car with a stranger who'd saved her from her worst nightmare. Can I ask you something? Logan said as they neared her neighborhood. Sure. What did you do before you had Amara? What were your dreams? The question made her pause. No one had asked her that in years. I wanted to be a teacher. Elementary school. I was in college when I met Trevor. He convinced me to drop out after we got married, said he'd take care of everything. She looked out the window. That was the first thing he took from me. My education. It's not too late. You could go back. With what time? What money? Sanaa shook her head. That dream died a long time ago. Dreams don't die. They just wait. Logan pulled up in front of her apartment building, a 3-story walk-up that had seen better days. He put the car in park but didn't turn off the engine. I meant what I said earlier. I want to help you. Logan, you've already done so much. Let me finish. He turned to face her fully. My company has a legal team. The best lawyers in the state. Let them handle your custody case. Pro bono. No cost to you. I can't accept that. Why not? Because I don't know you. Because people don't just help strangers for no reason. Because there's always a catch. The words tumbled out, all the fear and mistrust Trevor had planted in her. Logan was quiet for a long moment. You're right. You don't know me. So let me tell you who I am. I'm someone who has more money than I could spend in 10 lifetimes. I'm someone who grew up with nothing and remembers what it feels like to be helpless. And I'm someone who believes that people with power have a responsibility to use it for good. He met her eyes. The only catch is that you have to let me help. That's it. Why me? Why do you care? Because you grabbed my hand tonight. Because you were brave enough to ask for help. Because your ex-husband is a bully and I hate bullies. Logan smiled sadly. And maybe because I wish someone had helped my mother when she needed it. Sanaa felt something shift inside her. This wasn't pity. It was empathy. Understanding. If I say yes, she began slowly, I want to pay you back somehow. Eventually. How about you pay it forward instead? Someday when you're stable and happy, help someone else who's scared and alone. That's all I ask. It was too much. Too generous. Too good to be true. But as Sanaa looked into Logan's kind eyes, she saw only sincerity. And she was so tired of fighting alone. Okay, she said, her voice breaking. Yes. Thank you. You don't have to thank me. We're going to get through this together. Logan pulled out his phone. I'm giving you my personal number. Call me anytime, day or night. If Trevor shows up, if you're scared, if you need anything. She took his phone and entered her number, then sent herself a text so she'd have his. I still feel like this is some kind of dream. It's not a dream. It's a beginning. Logan hesitated, then continued. There's something else. My company runs a community outreach program. We help people get back on their feet after hard times. Job training, placement, support services. We have an opening for a program coordinator. Better pay than what you're making now, regular hours, and it would look good for the custody case. Logan, that's too much. Is it? You'd be working, earning it. The job is real and honestly you'd be perfect for it. You understand what people are going through because you've lived it. He looked at her seriously. I'm not offering this because I feel sorry for you. I'm offering it because you're exactly the kind of person we need. Someone with compassion and strength. Sanaa felt tears sliding down her cheeks again, but this time they weren't from fear. They were from relief. From hope. From the overwhelming sensation of being seen as a whole person instead of a problem to be managed. How do I even begin to repay this kindness? She whispered. Be happy. That's how. Logan reached out and gently squeezed her hand. Let me help you build a life where you and Amara are safe. Where you can dream again. She nodded, unable to speak past the lump in her throat. I'll have my assistant contact you tomorrow with details about the lawyers and the job. For now, go get some rest. You've had a long night. Logan waited until she'd gotten out of the car, then rolled down the window. Sanaa? You did good tonight. You asked for help. That takes courage. She watched him drive away, then looked down at her phone where his number glowed on the screen. Logan Bennett. Billionaire. Protector. Friend. As she climbed the stairs to her apartment, where the babysitter was waiting with Amara, Sanaa felt something she hadn't felt in years. She felt like maybe, just maybe, things were going to be okay. The door opened before she could get her key out. Mrs. Chin, her elderly neighbor who watched Amara for free, smiled at her. "You're back early." "Long story," Sana said, stepping inside. Her tiny apartment looked shabbier than usual after the grandeur of the gala, but it was clean and filled with Amara's artwork. "Oh, the little one is sleeping. She was an angel as always." Mrs. Chin gathered her things. "You look different. Something good happened?" "I think maybe it did." Sana paid Mrs. Chen with money she couldn't really spare but would never not give. "Thank you for watching her." After Mrs. Chen left, Sana tiptoed into the bedroom she shared with Amara. Her daughter was sprawled across the twin bed, her dark curls spread across the pillow, one arm wrapped around her favorite stuffed rabbit. She was beautiful. She was everything. "We're going to be okay, baby," Sana whispered, kissing Amara's forehead. "Someone kind is helping us. We're going to be okay." She changed into pajamas and lay down next to her daughter, holding her phone. Logan's number stared back at her. Part of her still couldn't believe this was real. But the business card in her purse was real. The warmth of his hand had been real. His promise had been real. For the first time in 2 years, Sana let herself believe in kindness again. She fell asleep with hope wrapped around her like a blanket, and she didn't dream of Trevor at all. 3 weeks later, Sana sat at her new desk at Bennett Technologies and still couldn't quite believe it was real. The office was bright and modern, with huge windows overlooking the city. Her desk had a nameplate that read, Sana Johnson, Community Outreach Coordinator. She kept touching it to make sure it wouldn't disappear. "Stop looking so surprised," said Jerome Washington, Logan's business partner and her new supervisor. He was a friendly man in his 40s with dark brown skin and an easy smile. "You earned this position fair and square. Your interview was excellent." "I still feel like I'm going to wake up," Sana admitted. "Well, don't. We need you here." Jerome set a folder on her desk. "These are the case files for our current program participants. Read through them, get familiar with their situations and start thinking about how we can better serve them. Logan says you have good instincts for this work." "Logan says that?" She tried to sound casual. Jerome grinned. "He talks about you a lot, actually. In a good way. He's impressed by you." Sana felt her cheeks warm. She'd seen Logan 3 times since the gala, always in professional settings. He'd introduced her to his legal team, a group of sharp lawyers led by a woman named Patricia Hughes who promised they'd handle Trevor's custody threat. He'd helped her prepare for her job interview. He'd been nothing but kind and respectful, never pushing for more. But sometimes she caught him looking at her with an expression she couldn't quite read. "He's been very generous," she said carefully. "That's Logan. He takes care of people." Jerome's expression turned serious. "But he doesn't usually get this personally involved. Whatever he sees in you, it's special." Before Sana could respond, her phone buzzed. A text from Logan, "How's the first day going?" She smiled and typed back, "Good. A little overwhelming but good. Want to grab lunch? I can bring sandwiches to your office." Her heart did a little flip. That would be nice. An hour later, Logan appeared in her doorway with a bag from the deli down the street. He wore dark blue pants and a white button-down shirt with the sleeves rolled up, looking more relaxed than she'd seen him. "Hope you like turkey and Swiss," he said, setting the bag on her desk. "Perfect." She cleared space and they sat across from each other, the desk between them. "You didn't have to check on me, you know. I wanted to. Is that okay?" Logan unwrapped his sandwich. "I know I'm technically your boss's boss, so if this is weird..." "It's not weird." She took a bite, realized she'd forgotten to eat breakfast and how hungry she was. "It's nice. I'm just not used to people caring about how my day is going." "Get used to it." His tone was light, but his eyes were serious. "How's Amara adjusting to the new schedule?" The fact that he asked about her daughter first, always, made Sana's chest tight with emotion. She loves her new after-school program. Yesterday she made a painting of a rainbow dragon. She wants to show you. I'd love to see it. Logan paused. "Actually, I was wondering if maybe this weekend, if you're free, we could do something together? The 3 of us. There's a children's museum that just opened, and I thought Amara might enjoy it." Sana's first instinct was to say no, to keep boundaries clear. But then she thought about how Amara's face lit up whenever Logan called. How her daughter had asked if the nice man from Mommy's work could come for dinner sometime. "She would love that," Sana said. "But Logan, I need to ask you something." "Anything. Why are you doing all this? The job, the lawyers, now spending your weekend with a 6-year-old? She searched his face. "What do you want from me?" Logan set down his sandwich and looked at her directly. I want to know you better. As a person, as a friend. Maybe as something more eventually if you're open to that. But there's no pressure, Sana. None. If all we ever are is friends, that's enough. I'm not looking for a relationship. I just got out of a terrible marriage. I know. I'm not asking you to be. I'm just asking if I can spend time with you and Amara. That's all. He smiled. Plus, I've never been to a children's museum. I might need a 6-year-old tour guide. She laughed despite herself. Okay. Saturday. But I'm buying the tickets. Deal. They finished lunch talking about work, about Sana's ideas for the outreach program, about everything except the tension that hummed between them. When Logan left, Sana sat at her desk feeling lighter than she had in years. Maybe it was okay to let someone in. Just a little bit. Saturday arrived bright and clear. Logan picked them up in the same unassuming black sedan, but this time Amara was with her, bouncing in her booster seat with excitement. Mr. Logan, Mommy says we're going to see dinosaurs. Amara announced. Real dinosaurs? Logan asked seriously. No, silly. They're dead. But there's bones and stuff. Amara launched into a detailed explanation of everything she knew about dinosaurs, which was surprisingly comprehensive for a 6-year-old. Sana watched Logan listen to her daughter with genuine interest, asking questions, making jokes. He never talked down to Amara or dismissed her excitement. He treated her like a person worth his full attention. At the museum, Amara dragged them from exhibit to exhibit. Logan bought her a stuffed triceratops from the gift shop despite Sana's protests. They ate overpriced chicken nuggets in the cafeteria and played in the outdoor science playground. Push me higher. Amara shrieked from the swing set. Logan pushed, careful but steady. How's this? Higher. Sana sat on a nearby bench watching them. Logan's laugh was genuine, his smile wide. He looked happy. More than that, he looked like he belonged there, pushing her daughter on the swings like it was the most natural thing in the world. Something inside her chest cracked open just a little. After 2 hours, Amara finally started to wear down. Logan carried her to the car when she got too tired to walk, and she fell asleep before they even left the parking lot. That was amazing, Sana said quietly. Thank you. Thank you for letting me be part of it. Logan glanced at Amara in the rearview mirror, sleeping peacefully. She's special. You've done an incredible job raising her. Most days I feel like I'm barely keeping it together. That's what being a parent is, I think. Loving someone so much that you keep going even when you're exhausted. Logan's voice was wistful. My foster parents, the last ones I had before I aged out, they were like that. Always tired, always worried, but always there. Do you still talk to them? They passed away a few years ago. But I made sure they knew how much they meant to me. He cleared his throat. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that Amara is lucky to have you. And I feel lucky to know both of you. They sat in comfortable silence as Logan drove them home. When they arrived at her apartment, he helped carry a sleeping Amara upstairs. Sana directed him to the bedroom, and he laid Amara gently on the bed, pulling the blanket over her. In the hallway outside, lit by the single bulb overhead, Logan turned to Sana. I had a great time today. Me too. Amara will talk about this for weeks. She hesitated. Logan, I'm scared. Of what? Of this. Of you. Of letting someone matter to me again. The words came out in a rush. My whole marriage I thought I knew what love was. But it was just control dressed up pretty. Now I don't know if I can trust my own judgment anymore. Logan was quiet for a moment, then said, I can't promise I'll never hurt you. I'm human, I'll mess up. But I can promise I'll never try to control you. I'll never make you feel small or worthless. And I'll always be honest with you, even when it's hard. Why do you even want this? You could have anyone. I don't want anyone. I want you. He said it simply, like it was the most obvious thing in the world. I want the woman who works 2 jobs for her daughter. Who left everything to protect someone she loves. Who grabs a stranger's hand when she's scared and trusts him to help. That's who I want. Sana felt tears building. I'm not ready for a relationship. Then let's not call it that. Let's just call it spending time together. Let me be your friend, Sana. Someone you can count on. Logan reached out and gently tucked a curl behind her ear. And when you're ready, if you're ever ready for more, you'll know where to find me. She nodded, not trusting her voice. I should go. Big week ahead for both of us. He moved toward the stairs, then paused. Oh, I almost forgot. Patricia called. Trevor's lawyers withdrew the custody petition completely. You have full legal and physical custody of Amara. It's over. The words took a moment to register. Then Sanaa gasped, her hand flying to her mouth. What? How? Patricia is very good at her job. She found some information about Trevor's finances that made him decide fighting wasn't worth it. Logan smiled. He's not going to bother you anymore. Sanaa couldn't help it. She threw her arms around Logan's neck, sobbing into his shoulder. All the fear, all the stress, all the sleepless nights worrying about losing her daughter, it all came pouring out. Logan held her steady, one hand on her back, the other cradling her head. You're safe now, he murmured. Both of you. You're safe. When she finally pulled back, embarrassed by her outburst, Logan was looking at her with such tenderness that it made her breath catch. I'm not good at this, she whispered. At being cared for. Then I'll teach you. He smiled. If you'll let me. She thought about saying no. About protecting her heart. About all the reasons this was too fast, too much, too risky. Instead she said, okay. Be my friend, Logan. Show me what that looks like. Deal. He squeezed her hand once, then headed down the stairs. Sanaa stood in the hallway long after his car had pulled away, her hand still warm from his touch, her heart feeling something she'd thought was lost forever. Oh. Inside the apartment, Amara was still sleeping peacefully. Sanaa kissed her daughter's forehead and whispered, We're going to be okay, baby. Better than okay. We're going to be happy. For the first time she believed it. The next 3 months passed like a gentle dream. Sanaa threw herself into her new job and discovered she was good at it. Really good. She understood what the people in the outreach program needed because she'd been there herself. She knew how to listen without judging, how to encourage without pushing, how to help people find their own strength. Jerome praised her work constantly. You've connected with more participants in 3 months than the last coordinator did in a year, he told her one afternoon. Logan was right about you. Logan. He was always there but never overwhelming. He'd bring coffee to her office and chat for a few minutes before meetings. He'd text her funny articles or pictures he thought she'd like. He'd ask about Amara constantly, genuinely interested in every story about her daughter's day. And slowly, carefully they became friends. Real friends. Logan started joining them for dinner once a week, usually at Sanaa's apartment. She'd cook simple meals, spaghetti or chicken, and they'd eat at her small table while Amara told elaborate stories about school. Logan always helped with dishes afterward, and they'd talk while Amara did homework or played. Tell me about growing up, Sanaa said one evening as they washed plates together. Amara was in the bedroom drawing. Not much to tell. I bounced between foster homes until I was 14, then got placed with the Hendersons. They were older, couldn't have kids of their own, and they actually cared. Logan handed her a plate to dry. Mr. Henderson taught me about computers. That's how I got into tech. When did you start your company? Right after college. I had an idea for software that could help small businesses manage inventory. I maxed out credit cards, worked out of my apartment, lived on ramen. He smiled at the memory. The first year I made $8,000. Thought I was rich. What changed? I got lucky. Right place, right time. A bigger company wanted to buy my software. I sold it, used the money to start Bennett Technologies, and things just grew from there. He shrugged. Now I have more money than I know what to do with. You could do a lot with it. I try. The outreach program, donations, scholarships. Logan looked at her seriously. But honestly, the best thing I've spent money on in years was those lawyers who helped you. Logan. She didn't know what to say. I mean, it's Sanaa. Seeing you happy, seeing Amara safe, that matters more than any business deal. He dried his hands on the towel. You matter to me. Before she could respond, Amara ran into the kitchen waving a piece of paper. Look what I made. It was a drawing of 3 stick figures. One had Amara's curly hair, one had Sanaa's dress, and one was tall with dark hair. They were all holding hands under a rainbow. That's me, Mommy, and Mr. Logan, Amara explained proudly. It's beautiful, sweetheart, Sanaa managed, her throat tight. Can I give it to Mr. Logan? Amara asked. Of course you can, Logan said, kneeling down to Amara's height. I'm going to hang this in my office where everyone can see it. Thank you, Amara. Amara beamed and hugged him. Logan hugged her back, and Sanaa had to turn away before they saw the tears in her eyes. This man was becoming part of their lives. Part of their family. And it terrified her how much she wanted that. A week later, Logan invited them to a play at the Children's Theater downtown. Amara was studying theater in school and was thrilled. They sat in the audience, Amara between them, and watched a production of a classic fairy tale. During intermission, Amara went to the bathroom with another little girl she'd befriended. Sanaa and Logan stood in the lobby holding overpriced juice boxes. She's going to talk about this for months, Sanaa said. Thank you for bringing us. I'm having just as much fun as she is. Logan smiled. Maybe more. When was the last time you did something like this? Before Amara was born. Trevor didn't like theater. Or museums. Or pretty much anything I enjoyed. She caught herself. Sorry? I don't mean to always bring him up. Don't apologize. That was your life. It shaped who you are. Logan turned to face her fully. Can I ask you something? Sure. When do you think you'll be ready? To try again? With someone new? His hazel eyes were steady on hers. I'm not pushing. I'm just curious. Sanaa's heart hammered. I don't know. I keep waiting to feel different, to feel healed, but I don't know what that's supposed to feel like. Maybe it feels like this, Logan said quietly. Like standing in a theater lobby drinking juice boxes and feeling happy. Like having someone who wants to know about your day. Like not being afraid anymore. She looked at him, really looked at him. At this kind, patient man who'd entered her life like a miracle. Who never asked for anything but gave everything. Who made her daughter laugh and made her feel seen. Logan, she whispered. I think I might be falling for you. His face transformed with joy. Yeah. And it scares me to death. That's okay. We'll be scared together. He reached out and took her hand right there in the crowded lobby. I've been falling for you since the night you grabbed my hand at the gala. Maybe even before that. Before? Logan looked like he wanted to say something more, but then Amara came running back and the moment passed. But his hand stayed in hers, warm and steady, until they had to return to their seats. That night, after Logan had driven them home and said goodbye, Sanaa lay in bed unable to sleep. She kept replaying his words. Maybe even before that. What did that mean? The next morning she decided to be brave. She texted Logan, "Can we talk? Just the two of us." He responded immediately. "Of course. Dinner tonight? I'll pick you up at 7. Mrs. Chen can watch Amara?" She already said yes. At 7 sharp, Logan arrived wearing dark green pants and a nice shirt. He looked nervous, which made Sanaa feel better about her own nerves. He took her to a quiet restaurant with big windows overlooking the river. They ordered wine and appetizers, and for a while they just talked about easy things. Work, funny stories about Amara, a movie Logan had just seen. Then Sanaa gathered her courage. "You said something yesterday. About falling for me before the gala. What did you mean?" Logan set down his glass. "I was hoping you'd ask about that." He took a breath. 3 years ago, I was at a coffee shop on the north side. It was a Sunday morning and I was reading the paper. You came in with baby Amara. She was tiny, maybe 3 years old. Sanaa's eyes widened. "I remember that coffee shop. We used to go there every Sunday. You ordered a latte and a muffin to split with her. You were on the phone with someone, a friend maybe, talking about leaving your husband. About being scared but knowing you had to do it. About wanting Amara to grow up seeing what strength looks like." Logan's voice was soft with memory. "I'd never seen anyone look so tired and so brave at the same time." "You were there?" She could barely breathe. "I wanted to say something. To help somehow. But I didn't know how. I was just some stranger eavesdropping on your conversation." He smiled sadly. "So I left. But I never forgot you. I never forgot the woman who was willing to lose everything to save her daughter." Tears streamed down Sanaa's face. "That's why you didn't hesitate at the gala. I recognized you immediately. And I knew right then that I'd been given a second chance. A chance to actually help instead of just wishing I could." Logan reached across the table and took her hands. "I'm not trying to be creepy or anything. I didn't stalk you or anything like that. I just never forgot you. And when I saw you again it felt like fate." Sanaa laughed through her tears. "That's the most romantic thing anyone's ever said to me. It's just the truth." She looked at this man who'd been her guardian angel without her knowing it. Who'd waited years for a chance to help her. Who asked for nothing but gave everything. "I'm done being scared," she whispered. "Logan, I want to try this. Really try. With you." His smile was like the sun breaking through clouds. "Are you sure?" "I'm sure. You've shown me what kindness looks like. What real care looks like. I want to see what love looks like with you." Logan stood up and came around the table. Right there in the restaurant, he cupped her face in his hands and kissed her softly. It was gentle, respectful, full of promise. When they broke apart, Sanaa was smiling wider than she had in years. "So we're doing this?" Logan asked. "You and me." "You, me and Amara," Sanaa corrected. "That's the package deal. That's the only deal I want." He kissed her again, longer this time, and Sanaa felt something she'd thought was dead bloom back to life in her chest. Oh, joy. Love. The waiter appeared to take their order, looking amused by their public display of affection. They ordered without really paying attention to the menu, too busy smiling at each other. "There's one more thing," Logan said. "Trevor's lawyers contacted Patricia yesterday. He's dropping all claims permanently. He signed away his parental rights. He's completely out of your life." Sanaa gasped. "What? Why?" "Patricia made it very clear what would happen if he continued to harass you. And I may have made some calls to people he does business with." Logan looked almost apologetic. "I know you value fighting your own battles, but I couldn't stand by and watch him threaten you anymore." "Logan Bennett, did you use your billionaire powers to make my ex-husband go away?" "Maybe a little." She should have been upset. Should have felt like he'd overstepped. But all she felt was relief. And gratitude. And love for this man who'd protected her without making her feel weak. "Thank you," she said simply. "For everything." They ate dinner talking about the future instead of the past. About Sanaa going back to school. About Amara's education. About trips they could take together. About all the possibilities stretching out before them. When Logan drove her home that night, he walked her to her door like a gentleman. "Can I take you and Amara to the zoo next weekend? We'd love that. And maybe one night this week, just us again? I want to take you somewhere nice." "I'd like that too." She smiled. "I have a boyfriend now. That's weird to say. Get used to it." He kissed her goodnight, soft and sweet. "Sleep well, Sanaa." She watched him drive away, then went inside where Mrs. Chen was reading on the couch and Amara was sleeping. "You look happy," Mrs. Chen observed. "I am," Sanaa said, surprised by how true it was. "I really am." That night, lying next to Amara, Sanaa thought about fate and second chances. About a stranger in a coffee shop who'd remembered her courage. About grabbing a hand in desperation and finding love instead. 3 years ago she'd been planning to leave Trevor, terrified and alone. Tonight she was planning a future with Logan, hopeful and loved. Life had a funny way of working out. 4 months into their relationship, Sanaa felt like she was living someone else's life. A better life. Logan had become a fixture in their world, spending most evenings and weekends with her and Amara. They'd fallen into an easy rhythm, like they'd been together for years instead of months. Amara called him Papa Logan now, a title he'd earned through countless bedtime stories, patient homework help and endless games of pretend. Every time Amara said it, Sanaa saw Logan's eyes shine with emotion. "I never thought I'd be a dad," he told her one night. "I figured my childhood was too messed up. But with Amara it feels natural." "You're amazing with her," Sanaa had assured him. "She loves you. I love her too. And I love you." They said it easily now, those 3 words. Logan said them while making coffee in the morning. Sanaa said them while watching him play with Amara. It felt right, solid, real. So when Sanaa arrived at Bennett Technologies one Monday morning and found a striking woman waiting by her office, she felt the first flutter of unease. The woman was tall and elegant, with pale skin, dark hair pulled back in a perfect bun, and wearing a designer suit that probably cost more than Sanaa's monthly rent. She looked like she belonged in Logan's world in a way Sanaa never quite felt she did. "Can I help you?" Sanaa asked, unlocking her office door. "You're Sanaa Johnson?" The woman's voice was cold. "Yes. And you are?" "Vanessa Park. I'm an old friend of Logan's." The way she said friend suggested something else entirely. "Do you have a moment to talk?" Every instinct told Sanaa to say no. But curiosity won out. "Sure. Come in." They sat across from each other, Sanaa behind her desk, Vanessa in the visitor's chair. Up close, the woman was even more beautiful and clearly knew it. "I'll be direct," Vanessa said. "Logan and I were engaged 5 years ago." Sanaa's stomach dropped. "He never mentioned that." "I'm not surprised. Our breakup was messy." Vanessa crossed her legs. "He ended things right before the wedding. Said he couldn't go through with it. It nearly destroyed me. I'm sorry that happened to you, but I don't understand why you're telling me this. Because I care about Logan even after all this time. And I feel it's my duty to warn you." Vanessa leaned forward. "Logan has a pattern. He finds women who are vulnerable, who need saving. He sweeps in like a hero, makes them dependent on him, and then when they're too attached he leaves." "That's not what's happening," Sanaa said, but her voice sounded weak even to herself. "Isn't it? Think about how you met. You were desperate, scared. He offered you everything you needed. Job, lawyers, protection. How convenient." Vanessa's smile was sharp. And now you're so grateful, so in love with your savior, you can't see that this is what he does. It makes him feel important to rescue people. You're wrong about him. Am I? Ask yourself this: how many other women has he helped like this? How many other Sanas have there been? Vanessa stood. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm trying to save you from the heartbreak I went through. Because Logan will leave, honey. He always does. Once he gets bored of playing hero. She walked out, leaving Sanaa sitting at her desk with her world tilting sideways. The rest of the day passed in a blur. Sanaa couldn't focus on work, couldn't stop thinking about Vanessa's words. By the time Logan texted asking if he could come over for dinner, she'd worked herself into a knot of anxiety. She almost told him not to come. But she needed to hear his side. Logan arrived with groceries and his usual smile. I thought I'd make my famous stir-fry tonight. Amara said she'd give it a 10 out of 10 last time. We need to talk, Sanaa said. His smile faded. Okay. That sounds serious. They sent Amara to play in her room, then sat at the kitchen table. Sanaa told him about Vanessa's visit, about everything she'd said. Logan's expression grew darker with each word. I should have told you about her, he said when she finished. I'm sorry. So it's true? You were engaged. Briefly. 5 years ago. Logan ran his hand through his hair. I met Vanessa at a business conference. She was smart, successful, beautiful. We dated for a year, got engaged. But as the wedding got closer, I realized something was wrong. What? She wanted to control everything. What I wore, who I spent time with, how I ran my company. It started small but it grew. By the end, I felt like I was suffocating. Logan looked at Sanaa directly. She became possessive, jealous. She'd go through my phone, show up at my office unannounced. When I tried to talk to her about it, she'd turn it around, make me feel guilty for questioning her. Sanaa's chest tightened. That sounds familiar. That's why I ended it. I'd rather be alone than be with someone who made me feel trapped. He reached for Sanaa's hand. What did she say about us? Sanaa repeated Vanessa's accusations, watching Logan's face. He looked hurt, then angry. That's completely false, he said firmly. You're the only woman I've ever helped like this. The only one I've ever wanted to help like this. But why me? Why did you do all of this if not because you wanted to feel like a hero? Because I care about you. Because I couldn't stand seeing you hurting and knowing I could help. Logan squeezed her hand. Sanaa, I'm not Trevor. I'm not trying to control you or make you dependent. Everything I've done, I did because I wanted you to be strong and free, not tied to me. But I am tied to you, Sanaa said, her voice breaking. You gave me a job, you paid for my lawyers, you're part of my daughter's life. What happens if you leave? I lose everything again. I'm not leaving. That's what Trevor said. That's what every man says until they don't mean it anymore. Tears streamed down her face. Maybe Vanessa is right. Maybe I'm just another project to you. Logan stood up so fast his chair scraped the floor. He paced the small kitchen, clearly trying to control his emotions. I love you, he finally said. Not because you need me. Not because I'm trying to save you. But because you're strong and brave and kind. Because you make me laugh. Because watching you with Amara shows me what real love looks like. How do I know that's true? Because I'm telling you it is. He came back and knelt in front of her chair, taking both her hands. Sanaa, I understand why you're scared. Your trust was broken badly. But I'm not Trevor and I'm not Vanessa's version of me. I'm just Logan, a man who fell in love with you and wants to build a life with you. She wanted to believe him. God, she wanted to so badly. I need time, she whispered. To think. To figure out what's real. Pain flashed across Logan's face, but he nodded. Okay. Take all the time you need. I'll be here when you're ready. He stood to leave and panic shot through her. Logan, wait. He turned back. I love you, she said. I need you to know that. I love you so much it terrifies me. That's why this is so hard. I know, he said gently. And I love you too. That's not going to change no matter what you decide. After he left, Sanaa sat at the kitchen table crying. Amara came out of her room worried. Mommy? Why are you sad? Where's Papa Logan? He had to go home, baby. Is he coming back tomorrow? I don't know. Amara climbed into her lap, too big for it but fitting anyway. I hope so. I love Papa Logan. Me too, Sanaa whispered. Me too. That night she couldn't sleep. She kept replaying everything. Logan's kindness, his patience, the way he looked at her like she hung the moon. But also Vanessa's words, sharp and poisonous. The next morning she called Patricia, Logan's lead lawyer. I need to ask you something confidential. Of course, Patricia said. How many other cases has Logan personally funded like mine? How many other women has he helped? There was a pause. In the 15 years I've worked with Logan, you're the only one. He donates to organizations, funds scholarships, but he's never gotten personally involved with an individual client before. You're special to him, Sanaa. That answer should have made her feel better. Instead, it made the pressure worse. If she was the only one, that made her even more responsible for not messing this up. She went to work in a daze. Jerome noticed immediately. You okay? Can I ask you something about Logan? Sure. Vanessa Park. What do you know about her? Jerome's expression darkened. She's trouble. She and Logan dated years ago. She was bad news, always trying to control him. Why? She came to see me yesterday. Said Logan has a pattern of helping vulnerable women. That's garbage, Jerome said flatly. Vanessa is manipulative. She's been trying to get back with Logan for years. He won't even take her calls. He looked at Sanaa seriously. Don't let her mess with your head. Logan is one of the good ones. The best one, actually. How do I know what's real? How do I trust my judgment after everything I went through with Trevor? You pay attention, Jerome said. Has Logan ever made you feel small? Has he ever tried to control you or tell you what to do? No. Has he ever asked for anything in return for helping you? No. Has he ever made you doubt yourself or feel like you owe him? Sanaa thought about it. No. Never. Then that's how you know. Trust your experience with him, not some bitter ex's lies. That afternoon, Sanaa made a decision. She called Logan. Can we talk? Tonight. Of course. Your place or mine? Yours. I need to see where you live. She'd never been to his penthouse. Maybe that was part of the problem. Maybe she'd been keeping distance without realizing it. I'll send a car at 7. Logan's building was in the nicest part of downtown. The elevator required a key to reach the penthouse. When the doors opened directly into his apartment, Sanaa gasped. The space was beautiful but not cold. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the city. Comfortable furniture in blues and greens. Bookshelves everywhere. And on the wall in his office, which she could see through the open door, was Amara's drawing of the three of them holding hands. Logan appeared from the kitchen. Hey. Hi. She gestured around. This is nice. Homie. Thanks. I've lived here for 3 years, but I never really made it feel like home until recently. He smiled. Having you and Amara in my life made me want to make my space warmer. They sat on the couch. Sanaa took a deep breath. I'm sorry I doubted you. You don't have to apologize. Yes, I do. I let Vanessa's poison get in my head. But I've been thinking, really thinking. And you've never done anything to make me doubt you. Not once. You've only been kind and patient and loving. Sanaa. Let me finish. I'm damaged goods, Logan. Trevor broke something in me. Maybe a lot of somethings. I don't know if I'll ever be able to trust completely or believe that good things can last. But I want to try. With you. If you'll still have me. Logan pulled her into his arms. Of course I'll still have you. Always. She kissed him, pouring all her fear and hope and love into it. When they broke apart, they were both crying. I choose you, she whispered. I choose us. I choose to believe in this. Thank you, Logan said. Thank you for trusting me. They spent the evening talking about everything. About Vanessa, about Trevor, about their fears and insecurities. Logan told her about his lonely childhood, about always feeling like he didn't belong anywhere. Sanaa told him about the slow erosion of her self-worth during her marriage. We're both a little broken, Logan said. But maybe we can be broken together. Help each other heal. I'd like that. As Sanaa left that night, she felt lighter. Stronger. She'd faced her fears and come out the other side. But she didn't know that Vanessa wasn't done. Not even close. And the real test of their relationship was still to come. 3 weeks after the confrontation with Vanessa, life had settled back into comfortable happiness. Sanaa and Logan were stronger than ever, their relationship deepened by the honesty they'd shared. Amara was thriving, doing well in school and clearly adoring her Papa Logan. One Saturday evening, Logan made a reservation at the most exclusive restaurant in the city. The kind of place that required booking months in advance. He picked Sanaa up wearing a navy suit that made his hazel eyes even more striking. You look beautiful, he said when she opened the door in a blue dress she'd bought specifically for tonight. You clean up pretty well yourself, she teased. In the car, Logan seemed nervous. His knee bounced slightly and he kept adjusting his tie. Sanaa reached over and took his hand. Everything okay? Yeah. Just, tonight's important to me. The restaurant was on the top floor of one of the tallest buildings downtown, with windows that looked out over the entire city. Their table was by the glass, offering a breathtaking view of the lights below. After they'd ordered wine and appetizers, Logan took a deep breath. "There's something I need to tell you. Something I should have told you a long time ago." Sanaa's stomach clenched. "Okay. Remember when I said I recognized you at the gala? That I'd seen you before? In the coffee shop 3 years ago. You told me about that. Right. But I never told you the whole story." Logan took her hand across the table. "It wasn't random that I was there that day. I've been going to that coffee shop every Sunday for months. Because of you." "What?" "The first time I saw you was actually 4 years ago, not 3. Different coffee shop, different part of town. You were pregnant, maybe 7 or 8 months along. You were with an older woman, your mother maybe, and you were crying. I was at the next table working on my laptop. I overheard you talking about your husband, about how he changed, how scared you were. Your mother was begging you to leave him." Sanaa's hand flew to her mouth. "I remember that day. That was one of the worst days. I just found out I was having a girl, and Trevor told me he wanted a son. Said a daughter was useless." Logan's jaw tightened. "I heard that part. I wanted to say something, to do something. But what could I say? I was a stranger. So I left. But I couldn't stop thinking about you. About that scared pregnant woman who deserved so much better. Logan. I started looking for you. Not in a creepy way," he added quickly. "I just went back to that same coffee shop every week, hoping to see you again. To make sure you were okay. I never did. But then, about 6 months later, I found you at a different coffee shop across town. You had baby Amara with you. You looked exhausted, but you were smiling at her. And I heard you on the phone talking about leaving your husband. That was when I'd finally decided. When I knew I had to get out. I know. And I wanted to help so badly. But again, what could I do? Approach a random woman and offer money? That's weird and inappropriate." Logan's voice was thick with emotion. "So I kept going to that coffee shop every Sunday. Watching you and Amara from a distance. Making sure you were okay. I saw you leave with bags packed. I saw you struggling but surviving. I saw your strength." Tears streamed down Sanaa's face. "You were watching over me all that time? Not in a stalker way, I swear. I needed to know you were all right. You and Amara. I told myself I was being ridiculous, that I didn't even know you. But I couldn't help it. Something about your courage moved me. That's why you didn't hesitate at the gala. I saw you walk into that ballroom and it felt like fate. Like I'd been given a chance to actually help instead of just watching from afar. When you grabbed my hand, it was like everything I'd been hoping for, a way to finally be there for you." Logan squeezed her hand. "I know this sounds insane. I know I should have told you sooner. But I didn't want you to think I was some creep who'd been following you. Were you? Following me? No. I only ever saw you at that one coffee shop on Sundays. And after you grabbed my hand at the gala, I never went back. I didn't need to watch over you anymore because I was actually in your life." He looked at her earnestly. "Sanaa, I'm not obsessed with you in some unhealthy way. I saw someone who needed kindness and I wanted to be the one to give it. And then I got to know you and I fell in love with who you are. Not who I imagined you to be, but the real you." Sanaa didn't know what to say. Part of her felt like she should be upset, like this was weird. But mostly she just felt overwhelmed by the depth of his care. This man had spent years hoping to help her. Years caring about a stranger. "Say something," Logan pleaded. "Tell me I haven't ruined everything." "I don't think it's ruined," she said slowly. "I think it's maybe the most romantic thing I've ever heard." "Weird, yes. But romantic." "Yeah. You spent years wanting to help me. Not because you wanted something from me, but because you cared about a stranger's well-being. That's not creepy, Logan. That's beautiful." Relief flooded his face. "I was so scared you'd think I was some kind of stalker. There's a big difference between someone who tries to control and someone who quietly cares from a distance. You never approached me until I asked for help. You never tried to insert yourself into my life. You held space for me in your heart." She wiped her tears. "Thank you for telling me. For being honest." Logan stood up and came around to her side of the table. Right there in the fancy restaurant, he knelt beside her chair. "Sanaa Johnson, I have loved you for 4 years. I loved the strength in you when you were pregnant and scared. I loved the determination in you when you left with your baby. I loved the courage in you when you grabbed my hand at that gala. And I love everything about you now. Your laugh, your kindness, the way you love Amara, the way you see the best in people even when they've given you every reason not to." "Logan, what are you doing?" Sanaa whispered, aware of other diners starting to notice. Something I've wanted to do for months. He pulled a small velvet box from his jacket pocket. I know it's fast. I know we've only been officially together for 4 months. But I've loved you for 4 years and I don't want to waste another moment. Sanaa, will you marry me? Will you let me spend the rest of my life loving you and Amara? Will you make me the luckiest man alive? Sanaa looked at the ring, a beautiful diamond that caught the light and sparkled like a promise. She looked at Logan's face, open and vulnerable and so full of love. And she thought about grabbing his hand in desperation, about all the moments since then, about building a life with this man who'd quietly loved her from afar. There was only one answer. Yes, she said, laughing and crying at the same time. Yes, I'll marry you. The restaurant erupted in applause as Logan slipped the ring on her finger and kissed her. It was perfect. Everything was perfect. When they finally sat back down, both grinning like fools, Logan said, I already asked Amara for permission, by the way. Last week. She said yes and made me pinky promise to take her to get ice cream to celebrate. You asked my 6-year-old for permission? Of course I did. She's part of this too. I'm not just marrying you, Sanaa. I'm marrying into your family. And I want her to know she's just as important in this decision. Sanaa reached across the table and took his face in her hands. How are you real? I ask myself the same thing about you every day. They ate dinner in a haze of happiness, making plans and dreaming out loud. Spring wedding, they decided. Small and intimate. Maybe in a garden. Amara could be the flower girl. Logan's business partner Jerome would be his best man. Sanaa would ask Nicole to be her maid of honor. I want to adopt Amara, Logan said over dessert. Officially. If you're okay with that. Are you sure? That's a big commitment. I've never been more sure of anything. She's my daughter in every way that matters. I want to make it legal. Logan's eyes were serious. I want her to have my name. I want her to know that I'm not going anywhere. Ever. She'll be thrilled. She already thinks of you as her dad. I know. And I think of her as my daughter. He smiled. Our family. I like the sound of that. Me too. As they left the restaurant that night, engaged and glowing, Sanaa felt like she was floating. Everything she'd lost with Trevor, all the pain and fear and suffering, it had led her here. To this moment. To this man. To this future. The universe had a funny way of working things out. When Logan dropped her off at home, Mrs. Chen was waiting with a knowing smile. From the look on your face, I'd say he asked. He did. Sanaa showed her the ring. Congratulations, dear. He's a good man. You deserve this happiness. After Mrs. Chen left, Sanaa tiptoed into the bedroom where Amara was sleeping. She kissed her daughter's forehead and whispered, Papa Logan asked me to marry him, baby. We're going to be a real family. All 3 of us. Amara stirred but didn't wake. Sanaa sat on the edge of the bed, looking at her daughter, at the ring on her finger, at the life they were about to start. 4 years ago she'd been trapped and terrified. 2 years ago she'd been struggling and alone. Tonight she was engaged to the love of her life. She'd grabbed a stranger's hand in desperation and found forever. The next morning Amara woke up and immediately noticed the ring. Mommy? Is that from Papa Logan? It is, baby. He asked me to marry him. Is that okay with you? Amara squealed and jumped up and down on the bed. We're getting married? All of us. All of us. And Papa Logan wants to adopt you so you'll officially be his daughter. So my name will be Amara Bennett? If you want it to be. I do. I do. Amara hugged Sanaa tight. I love Papa Logan so much. And I love you. I love you too, sweetheart. More than anything in the world. They spent the morning calling people with the news. Nicole screamed so loud Sanaa had to hold the phone away from her ear. Logan's partner Jerome congratulated them warmly. Even Sanaa's mother, who she'd only recently reconciled with, was happy for her. You deserve this, her mother said. After everything Trevor put you through, you deserve a good man. Thanks, Mom. That means a lot. I'm proud of you, Sanaa. For leaving, for rebuilding, for opening your heart again. That takes real courage. After they hung up, Sanaa sat with Amara on the couch looking at her ring. What do you think, baby? Pretty? So pretty. Papa Logan has good taste. He does, doesn't he? The doorbell rang. Logan stood there with a huge smile and a bag of bagels. I brought breakfast. And ice cream for later because I made a promise. Amara launched herself at him. Papa Logan. We're getting married. We are. He picked her up and spun her around. Are you excited? So excited. And Mommy says I can be your real daughter. You already are my real daughter. But yes, we're going to make it official. He carried her inside and Sanaa followed, her heart so full it hurt. This was her life now. Mornings with bagels and laughter. A man who kept his promises to her daughter. A future built on love instead of fear. As they ate breakfast together, planning the wedding and talking about the adoption, Sanaa caught Logan's eye across the table. He smiled at her, that soft smile that was only for her, and she knew. She knew this was real. This was forever. This was the life she'd been fighting for all along. Want to know what happens when love faces its biggest test? Don't miss what comes next. Subscribe now and let us know in the comments. Do you believe in second chances at love? The months leading up to the wedding flew by in a blur of happiness. Logan and Sanaa fell into a rhythm that felt like they'd been together for decades instead of months. They decided to move in together, finding a beautiful house in a good school district with a yard for Amara to play in. Are you sure about this? Sanaa asked as they toured the 3-bedroom home with a bright green door and big windows. It's a lot of space. We need the space. One room for us, one for Amara, and one for a home office where you can study. Logan squeezed her hand. Because you're going back to school, remember? She'd almost forgotten. With everything happening so fast, her dream of becoming a teacher had gotten pushed to the side again. I don't know if I have time for school with the wedding and the new house. You do. We'll make time. Logan was firm. That's your dream, Sanaa. I'm not going to let you give it up again. So she applied to the university's online program, and with Logan's encouragement and financial support, which she accepted gratefully, she enrolled in classes to finish her bachelor's degree in elementary education. It felt surreal, sitting at the desk in their new home office studying textbooks and writing papers. I'm 30 years old, she told Nicole over coffee one Saturday. Most people finish college at 22. Most people don't leave abusive marriages and rebuild their entire lives, Nicole pointed out. You're doing amazing. The new house became a home quickly. Amara picked out paint for her room, a cheerful yellow that made the space feel sunny even on cloudy days. Logan set up his home office but spent most evenings in the living room with Sanaa and Amara, watching movies or playing board games. This is nice, Sanaa said one night after Amara had gone to bed. They were curled up on the couch together, Logan's arm around her shoulders. Domestic life with you. It's all I've ever wanted, Logan admitted. A real family. People to come home to. You have that now. We're your family. I know. Sometimes I still can't believe it's real. Work was going well too. Jerome had promoted Sanaa to director of the community outreach program, with a raise that made her cry. You've tripled our enrollment and success rate, Jerome told her. This is merit-based, not favoritism. Even though I'm marrying your business partner? Even though. You're good at this, Sanaa. Own it. She was learning to own her accomplishments, to accept that she'd earned her success. It wasn't easy after years of Trevor making her feel worthless, but with Logan's constant encouragement she was getting there. The adoption process moved forward smoothly. Logan hired a lawyer who specialized in family law, and they began the paperwork to make him legally Amara's father. The social worker who came to do the home study was charmed by their family dynamic. It's clear you all love each other very much, she said, watching Logan help Amara with a puzzle while Sanaa made dinner. This is exactly the kind of home every child deserves. When the adoption was finalized a month before the wedding, they celebrated with a small party. Amara wore a green party dress and couldn't stop smiling. The judge had given her a certificate that said, Amara Bennett, daughter of Logan Bennett and Sanaa Johnson. I have a daddy now, Amara told everyone who would listen. A real daddy who loves me. Logan cried when she said it. Big, unashamed tears of joy. But beneath the happiness, there was a shadow Sanaa tried to ignore. Trevor had been quiet for too long. The lawyer said he'd signed away his rights and shouldn't be a problem, but Sanaa couldn't shake the feeling that he wasn't done with her yet. Then, 2 weeks before the wedding, her fear became reality. She was at the grocery store with Amara, picking up ingredients for dinner. Amara was chattering about the wedding, about her flower girl dress, about how excited she was. They were in the produce section when Sanaa felt someone watching her. She turned and saw him. Trevor stood 20 feet away, partially hidden behind a display of apples. He looked worse than she remembered, thinner, with dark circles under his eyes. When their eyes met, he smiled. It wasn't a friendly smile. Sanaa's heart pounded. She grabbed Amara's hand. We're leaving. Now. But Mommy, we didn't get the carrots. Now, Amara. She abandoned the cart and walked quickly toward the exit, pulling Amara with her. She could feel Trevor following, could sense him getting closer. As soon as they were outside, she pulled out her phone and called Logan. Trevor's here, she said as soon as he answered. At the grocery store on 5th Street. He followed us. Get in your car and lock the doors. I'm calling security and I'll be there in 10 minutes. Logan's voice was calm but tight with anger. Don't engage with him. Just get safe. Sanaa rushed to her car, fumbling with the keys. Amara was crying now, sensing her mother's fear. They got inside and Sanaa locked the doors just as Trevor appeared beside the driver's window. He knocked on the glass. Sanaa, we need to talk. Go away, Trevor. You have no right to be here. She's my daughter. He pointed at Amara. You can't just erase me and replace me with your rich boyfriend. I'm not your daughter. Amara shouted from the back seat. Papa Logan is my daddy now. Trevor's face twisted with rage. You turned her against me. You poisoned her mind. You did that yourself when you threatened to take her away from me. Sanaa's voice shook but she held firm. You signed away your rights, Trevor. You have no legal claim to her anymore. Legal doesn't matter. She's my blood. And you're going to regret this. You're going to regret choosing him over your family. You were never my family. You were my prison. A security guard appeared, jogging toward them. Sir, you need to step away from the vehicle. Trevor glared at Sanaa one more time then walked away. The security guard took down information and assured Sanaa he'd make a report. By the time Logan arrived, Trevor was long gone. Logan pulled Sanaa and Amara out of the car and held them both. Are you okay? Did he hurt you? No. He just scared us. Sanaa was shaking. How did he find us? I don't know. But I'm going to find out. Logan's jaw was set in a hard line. And I'm going to make sure he can never get close to you again. That evening, after Amara was in bed, Logan made several phone calls. First to Patricia, his lawyer. Then to a private investigator. Then to the police to file a restraining order violation, since Trevor's previous order should have kept him away from Sanaa. We're going to handle this, Logan promised. I won't let him hurt you. I'm scared, Sanaa admitted. The wedding is in 2 weeks. What if he shows up? What if he tries something? Then we'll have security. I should have thought of that already. Logan pulled her close. I'm so sorry I didn't protect you better. This isn't your fault. It's his. I know. But you're my responsibility now. You and Amara. And I take that seriously. The private investigator, a no-nonsense woman named Rachel Torres, called the next day with information. Trevor Harris lost his job 6 months ago. He's been gambling heavily and has significant debts. He was evicted from his apartment last week. From what I can tell, he blames you and Mr. Bennett for his problems. That's ridiculous, Sanaa said. We have nothing to do with his job or his gambling. I know. But people like him rarely accept responsibility for their failures. They need someone to blame. Rachel's voice was kind but firm. The good news is that his financial situation makes him less of a physical threat. He doesn't have resources for a prolonged campaign of harassment. The bad news is that desperate people do desperate things. Logan hired a security company to patrol their neighborhood and installed cameras around the house. It felt excessive to Sanaa, but she couldn't deny the relief she felt seeing the guards outside. 2 days later, the investigator called again. I have more information. Trevor has been in contact with someone named Vanessa Park. Phone records show multiple calls between them over the past month. Sanaa's blood ran cold. Vanessa? Logan's ex. It appears they've formed some kind of alliance. I don't know what they're planning, but it can't be good. Logan looked like he wanted to break something. That woman won't let go. This is beyond obsessive. What do we do? Sanaa asked. We stay vigilant. We protect our family. And we trust that love is stronger than whatever poison they're cooking up. Logan took her hands. Sanaa, if you want to postpone the wedding until this is resolved, I understand. No. She was surprised by how firm her voice was. I'm not letting them control my life anymore. We're getting married in 2 weeks and they can't stop us. Are you sure? I've never been more sure of anything. Logan smiled and kissed her. That's my girl. Strong and stubborn. The next week passed in tense preparation. The wedding planner assured them security would be tight. Only invited guests would be allowed in. But Sanaa couldn't shake the feeling that Trevor and Vanessa weren't done. Then, 3 days before the wedding, the private investigator called with news that changed everything. Trevor Harris was arrested this morning, Rachel said. He tried to withdraw a large sum of money using a forged check with Mr. Bennett's account information. The bank caught it immediately and called the police. He tried to steal from me? Logan sounded more confused than angry. More than that. We found evidence on his laptop of a scheme to embezzle from your company. It looks like Vanessa gave him access codes and inside information. They were planning to steal money and frame Sanaa for it, making it look like she'd used her position to commit fraud. Sanaa felt sick. They wanted to send me to prison? It appears so. The theory is that with you in jail, Mr. Bennett would leave you and Vanessa could swoop back in. Meanwhile, Trevor would get money and revenge. Rachel sounded disgusted. It's a mess. But the good news is they were sloppy. We have all the evidence we need. Trevor will be going to prison for a long time. And Vanessa is being investigated for corporate espionage. After the call ended, Sanaa sat in stunned silence. They wanted to destroy my life. Again. But they didn't, Logan said firmly. They failed. You're safe. Amara's safe. We're safe. I can't believe Vanessa would go that far. Obsession makes people do terrible things. Logan pulled her into his arms. But it's over now. Really over. Trevor is going away for years. Vanessa will face consequences. They can't hurt us anymore. Sanaa let herself cry, releasing all the fear and stress of the past weeks. Logan held her through it, steady and strong. I'm sorry, she said when she finally stopped. I'm crying 3 days before our wedding. Cry all you need to. You've earned it. He kissed her forehead. And in 3 days we're going to get married surrounded by people who love us. We're going to start our life together officially. And nothing is going to stop us. Nothing? Nothing. I promise. That night, lying in bed next to Logan, Sanaa thought about how far she'd come. From that terrified woman in the coffee shop to this strong woman about to marry the love of her life. Trevor had tried to break her one last time and he'd failed. She was stronger than he ever gave her credit for. And she had something he never did. Real love. Real family. Real happiness. The nightmare was finally over. And the dream was about to begin. The 3 days between Trevor's arrest and the wedding passed in a strange combination of relief and residual anxiety. Sanaa kept expecting something else to go wrong, kept waiting for the other shoe to drop. But Logan was right. It was really over. Patricia called with updates. Trevor is being held without bail given his flight risk and the severity of the charges. He's looking at 5 to 10 years for fraud, attempted embezzlement, and violation of the restraining order. As for Vanessa, she's been fired from her position at her company and is facing charges for corporate espionage and conspiracy. Her career is over. I should feel happy about that, Sanaa said to Logan that evening. But mostly I just feel tired. That's normal. You've been in survival mode for so long. It takes time to adjust to safety. Logan was making dinner while Sanaa studied at the kitchen table. Amara was coloring nearby, humming to herself. I keep thinking about what could have happened. If they'd succeeded, if I'd gone to prison. But you didn't. That's what matters. Logan set a plate in front of her. You need your strength for the wedding. The wedding. In 2 days she'd be Sanaa Bennett. The thought filled her with joy and terror in equal measure. What if I'm not ready? She whispered. Logan sat down beside her. Ready for what? For all of this. For being someone's wife again. For building a life with someone. What if I mess it up? Then we'll fix it together. He took her hand. Sanaa, marriage isn't about being perfect. It's about choosing each other every day. Even on the hard days. Especially on the hard days. You make it sound so simple. Because it is. I love you. You love me. Everything else we can figure out as we go. Amara looked up from her coloring. Mommy, are you worried about the wedding? A little, baby. It's a big change. But it's a good change. Papa Logan makes us happy. Amara spoke with the simple wisdom of children. And we make him happy too. That's what families do. Sanaa pulled her daughter onto her lap. You're right. That's exactly what families do. The next morning, Nicole arrived with breakfast and moral support. Wedding day is tomorrow, bestie. How are you feeling? Terrified. Excited. Happy. Nauseous. Sanaa sipped her coffee. All of the above. That's completely normal. When I got married, I almost threw up twice before walking down the aisle. Nicole grinned. But then I saw James standing there and everything else just faded away. What if something goes wrong? Something probably will. Someone will spill wine or the music will skip, or Amara will get distracted and forget to throw the flower petals. But none of that matters. What matters is you and Logan promising to love each other. That's the only important part. When did you get so wise? I've always been wise. You just haven't been in a place to hear it until now. That afternoon, Sanaa's mother arrived from out of town. Their relationship was still healing, still tentative, But seeing her mother walk through the door with tears in her eyes made Sanaa realize how much she'd missed her. "My baby girl is getting married," her mother said, hugging her tight. "To a good man who treats you right. I'm so happy for you." "Thanks, Mom. I'm glad you're here. I'm sorry I wasn't there before. When you were with Trevor, I should have done more to help you leave. You did what you could. I wasn't ready to listen." Sanaa squeezed her mother's hand. "But I'm ready now. Ready to have you in my life again." They spent the evening together, 3 generations of women, preparing for the big day. Amara tried on her flower girl dress at least 5 times. Sanaa's mother fussed over the final alterations to the wedding dress. Nicole kept everyone laughing with funny stories. Logan called before bed. "How are my girls doing?" "We're good. Missing you though." They'd agreed to spend the night before the wedding apart, honoring the tradition. "I miss you too. But I'll see you tomorrow. At the altar. Where I get to marry the love of my life." "No pressure or anything," Sanaa teased. "No pressure. Just the rest of our lives starting." His voice grew serious. "Sanaa, thank you. For trusting me. For saying yes. For letting me be part of your family. Thank you for waiting for me. For seeing me when I was invisible. For loving me even when I didn't know how to love myself. Always. That's my promise to you. Always." After they hung up, Sanaa lay in bed staring at the ceiling. Tomorrow she'd walk down an aisle. Tomorrow she'd say vows. Tomorrow she'd become someone's wife. But this time it would be different. This time it would be right. The wedding day dawned clear and beautiful, with spring sunshine and a perfect blue sky. The ceremony was being held in a botanical garden, surrounded by flowers and trees. Small and intimate, just 50 guests, the people who mattered most. Sanaa stood in the bridal suite, looking at herself in the mirror. The dress was simple but elegant, white with delicate lace on the sleeves. Her natural curls were styled with small white flowers woven through them. She looked happy. She looked ready. "You're beautiful, sweetheart," her mother said, adjusting her veil. "Papa Logan is going to cry when he sees you," Amara announced. She looked adorable in her green flower girl dress, holding a basket of rose petals. "I hope so," Sanaa said. Happy tears. Nicole poked her head in. "It's time." Sanaa's heart pounded as they made their way to the ceremony space. She could hear music playing, could see the guests assembled. And at the end of the aisle, standing under an arch covered in flowers, was Logan. He wore a navy blue suit and looked more handsome than she'd ever seen him. But it was his expression that made her breath catch. He was looking at her like she was the only person in the world. Like she was everything. Her mother walked her down the aisle, since Sanaa's father had passed away years ago. With each step, Sanaa felt the weight of her past falling away. Trevor, the abuse, the fear, all of it stayed behind. She was walking toward her future. Logan's eyes filled with tears as she reached him. "You're so beautiful," he whispered. "So are you," she whispered back. The officiant began the ceremony, but Sanaa barely heard the words. All she could focus on was Logan's hands holding hers, warm and steady. All she could feel was the certainty that this was right. This was home. "Do you, Logan Bennett, take Sanaa Johnson to be your lawfully wedded wife? To love and cherish, in sickness and in health, for as long as you both shall live?" "I do," Logan said, his voice strong and clear. "I absolutely do." "And do you, Sanaa Johnson, take Logan Bennett to be your lawfully wedded husband? To love and cherish, in sickness and in health, for as long as you both shall live?" Sanaa looked at this man who'd waited for her, who'd protected her, who'd loved her through everything. "I do." They exchanged rings, simple gold bands that felt like promises on their fingers. "I now pronounce you husband and wife. Logan, you may kiss your bride." Logan cupped her face gently and kissed her. It was soft and sweet and full of love. The guests cheered, and Amara threw her flower petals in the air with abandon, making everyone laugh. As they walked back down the aisle together, husband and wife, Sanaa felt joy bubble up inside her. This was real. This was her life. This was happiness. The reception was held in a nearby pavilion, decorated with lights and flowers. There was dinner and dancing, toasts and laughter. Jerome gave a speech about how Logan had been waiting for someone like Sanaa his whole life. Nicole talked about watching her best friend transform from broken to whole. When it was time for the father-daughter dance, Logan danced with Amara instead. She stood on his feet as he swayed to the music, her face glowing with happiness. "I love you, Papa Logan," she said. "I love you too, Amara. Forever and always." Watching them, Sanaa felt tears stream down her face. Her mother appeared beside her and squeezed her hand. "You did good, baby. You found yourself a real man." I did, didn't I? Later, during their first dance as husband and wife, Logan held Sanaa close and whispered in her ear. 4 years ago, I saw a pregnant woman in a coffee shop and thought she was the bravest person I'd ever seen. Today I married her. I'm the luckiest man alive. I grabbed a stranger's hand at a gala, Sanaa whispered back. And it turned out to be the hand I'd hold forever. Forever, Logan agreed. That's the plan. As the night wore on and the party continued around them, Sanaa thought about her journey. From trapped and terrified to free and loved. From barely surviving to truly living. Trevor was in prison. Vanessa was facing justice. And Sanaa was dancing at her wedding, surrounded by people who cared about her, married to a man who'd waited years to love her. The nightmare was over. The dream had come true. And the best part? This was just the beginning. Wait, you might be thinking. Didn't Logan already propose? Yes, but this chapter isn't about their proposal. It's about what came after the wedding, when they settled into married life and discovered that happiness wasn't a destination. It was a choice they made every single day. The honeymoon was a week in Hawaii, just the two of them while Amara stayed with Sanaa's mother. It was the first time Sanaa had been on a real vacation in her adult life. Trevor had never wanted to travel, had said vacations were a waste of money. But Logan delighted in showing her the world. They snorkeled in crystal clear water. They watched the sunset from a beach. They ate fresh fish and drank fruity drinks with umbrellas. They made love and talked for hours and just existed together without any stress or fear. I could get used to this, Sanaa said one evening as they sat on their hotel balcony. Good. Because we're doing this every year. Family trip in the summer, just us trip in the winter. Logan, that's too much. It's not too much. It's what families do. They make memories together. He pulled her onto his lap. Besides, you work hard. You deserve to relax and have fun. When did I get so lucky? The night you grabbed my hand. That's when we both got lucky. When they returned home, tanned and relaxed, Amara ran into their arms screaming with joy. I missed you so much. Grandma let me stay up late and we made cookies and I drew you pictures. We missed you too, baby, Sanaa said, covering her daughter's face with kisses. Did you have fun with Grandma? So much fun. But I'm glad you're home. Home. The word settled warmly in Sanaa's chest. This house, this family, this life. It was all home. Married life fell into a comfortable rhythm. Logan left for work early but always made coffee for Sanaa first. She studied during Amara's school hours and worked at Bennett Technologies 3 days a week. Jerome had been flexible with her schedule so she could focus on her degree. Evenings were for family. Dinner together at the table, no phones allowed. Homework help for Amara. TV time or board games. Bedtime stories read by Logan, whose funny voices made Amara giggle uncontrollably. You're a natural at this, Sanaa told him one night after Amara had finally fallen asleep. At what? Being a dad. Being a husband. Being part of a family. That's because I have a good teacher. Logan pulled her close. You showed me what love is supposed to look like. We showed each other. 6 months into their marriage, Sanaa graduated with her bachelor's degree. The ceremony was small, but Logan, Amara, her mother, Nicole, and Jerome all attended. When they called her name and she walked across the stage to accept her diploma, Logan stood up and cheered so loudly that people turned to look. That's my wife, he shouted, not caring who heard. That's my brilliant, amazing wife. Sanaa laughed and cried and felt prouder of herself than she ever had before. She'd done it. She'd gone back to school, she'd finished her degree, she'd proven to herself that she could accomplish her dreams. The celebration dinner afterward was rowdy and joyful. Speech. Jerome called out. The graduate has to give a speech. Sanaa stood, her legs shaky, and looked around the table at the people who'd supported her. I don't have a big speech prepared. I just want to say thank you. To all of you. For believing in me when I didn't believe in myself. For pushing me to chase my dreams. And especially to my husband, who never let me give up. Logan's eyes were suspiciously bright. I didn't do anything. You did the work. You gave me the space to do the work. The encouragement. The love. That matters more than you know. That night, lying in bed, Logan said, I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of me too, Sanaa admitted. Is that okay to say? It's more than okay. It's everything. A month later, Sanaa got a job offer from Amara's elementary school. They needed a new third-grade teacher, and they'd heard about her degree and her work with the community outreach program. The interview went so well that they offered her the position on the spot. I got it, she called Logan from the school parking lot. They want me to start in the fall. That's amazing. I'm coming home early. We're celebrating. But when Logan got home, he wasn't alone. Jerome was with him, along with Patricia the lawyer, Rachel the investigator, and several other people who'd helped them during the custody battle and the Trevor situation. What's going on? Sanaa asked, confused. We wanted to celebrate you properly, Logan said. Everyone who helped you get to this moment is here to see where you've ended up. It was one of the kindest things anyone had ever done for her. They had a party in the backyard with Amara running around playing with the guests, with stories shared and laughter flowing. Sanaa felt surrounded by love, supported by community. Thank you, she told Logan later after everyone had left. For this. For everything. You don't have to thank me. This is what partners do. We celebrate each other's wins. Is this really my life? Sometimes I still can't believe it. Believe it? You earned every bit of it. As fall approached and Sanaa prepared for her new teaching job, she found herself thinking about the future. About what came next. She and Logan had talked vaguely about maybe having more children someday, but they'd never made concrete plans. One Saturday morning she brought it up over breakfast. Logan, how do you feel about babies? He nearly choked on his coffee. Babies? Like human babies? Yes, human babies. Our babies. Sanaa laughed at his expression. I'm not pregnant or anything. I'm just wondering how you feel about expanding our family. Logan set down his mug carefully. I would love nothing more than to have a baby with you. But only if you want that too. I'm completely happy with our family as it is. I think I want it, Sanaa said slowly. I want Amara to have a sibling. I want to experience pregnancy and birth with someone who'll be there for me, who'll support me. Trevor was terrible when I was pregnant. He made me feel ugly and useless. You could never be ugly or useless. Logan came around the table and knelt beside her chair. If you want to have a baby, we'll have a baby. If you don't, we won't. There's no pressure either way. What if I'm too old? I'm 31. That's not too old. My mother had me when she was 35. Logan took her hands. But again, no pressure. We have time to decide. They decided to stop trying not to get pregnant, letting nature take its course. If it happened, wonderful. If not, they were still a complete family. 3 months later, Sanaa saw the 2 pink lines on the pregnancy test and cried. Happy tears, overwhelmed tears, grateful tears. She told Logan that evening by handing him the test at dinner. He stared at it for a full minute before looking up at her with wonder in his eyes. We're having a baby? We're having a baby. He picked her up and spun her around, laughing and crying at the same time. Amara came running in from the living room. What's happening? Why is everyone crying? Happy crying, baby, Sanaa said. Papa Logan and I have news. You're going to be a big sister. Amara's eyes went wide. Really? I'm getting a brother or sister? Really? This is the best day ever. Amara shouted, jumping up and down. They told their family and friends the next week. Everyone was thrilled. Nicole promised to throw the best baby shower. Sanaa's mother cried and said she couldn't wait to have another grandbaby. Jerome joked that Logan would have to actually take paternity leave this time. The pregnancy was easier than Amara's had been, probably because Sanaa wasn't stressed and afraid. Logan doted on her, making sure she rested, bringing her strange food combinations when she had cravings, talking to her growing belly every night before bed. Hello in there, he'd say. This is your dad. I can't wait to meet you. Your mom is amazing, and your big sister is excited to teach you everything she knows. We're all so ready for you. Sanaa would lie there, tears in her eyes, thinking about how different this was. How loved she felt. How safe. When she was 6 months pregnant, they had a gender reveal party. The baker had put either pink or blue frosting inside a white cake. They cut into it together, with Amara holding the knife too, all 3 of them discovering the gender at once. Blue frosting. A boy. Logan kissed her, both of them laughing through tears. We're having a son. A son, Sanaa repeated, the word tasting sweet on her tongue. Amara, you're getting a baby brother. I'm going to teach him everything. Amara announced. How to color and read and sing songs. They decided to name him James, after Sanaa's father who'd passed away. James Logan Bennett. A name that honored the past and the present, the people who'd loved them. As Sanaa's belly grew and the due date approached, she felt more prepared than she'd ever been. This time she had support. This time she had love. This time she had a partner who was as excited as she was. The night before she went into labor, Logan held her close in bed, his hand on her stomach. Thank you for this. For our family. For our life. Thank you for waiting for me, Sanaa whispered. For seeing me when I didn't know how to be seen. I'd wait 100 lifetimes for you. And in that moment, lying in the arms of the man who'd loved her when she was a stranger, who'd protected her when she was afraid, who'd built a life with her when she thought she'd never have one, Sanaa felt complete. Not because she had a husband or a house or another baby on the way, but because she'd found herself again. She'd remembered who she was beneath all the hurt Trevor had inflicted. She'd discovered her strength, her worth, her capability. And she'd learned that asking for help wasn't weakness. It was wisdom. It was survival. It was the first step toward happiness. Tomorrow she'd meet her son. But tonight she was exactly where she needed to be. In the arms of love, in the presence of peace, in the home of her own making. She'd grabbed a stranger's hand in desperation. And that hand had led her home. James Logan Bennett entered the world on a Tuesday morning, 6 pounds 8 ounces of perfection. The labor was long but manageable, and through every contraction, Logan held Sanaa's hand and reminded her how strong she was. "You're doing amazing," he kept saying. "So amazing." When James finally arrived, his tiny cry filling the room, Logan cut the umbilical cord with shaking hands. The nurse placed the baby on Sanaa's chest, and she looked down at her son with wonder. "He's beautiful," she whispered. "He looks like you," Logan said, his voice choked with emotion. "He has your nose." Poor kid. They laughed, both of them crying, both of them overwhelmed by the tiny miracle in Sanaa's arms. Amara met her baby brother that afternoon. She tiptoed into the hospital room like she was approaching something precious and breakable, which Sanaa supposed she was. "This is James," Sanaa said, adjusting the bundle so Amara could see his face. "Your baby brother." "He's so small," Amara whispered. "Can I touch him?" "Of course, baby." Gently. Amara reached out one finger and stroked James's tiny hand. He immediately gripped her finger, his reflex strong. Amara gasped. "He's holding me. Mommy, he likes me." "He loves you," Sanaa corrected. "You're his big sister. He's going to love you forever." Logan took a picture of the moment, all four of them together. Their family. Complete. The first weeks home were exhausting and beautiful. James was a good baby, but he still woke every 2 hours to eat. Sanaa was tired in a way she'd forgotten was possible. But this time she wasn't alone. Logan took night shifts, bringing James to her when he needed to nurse, changing diapers, walking the baby around when he was fussy. "You don't have to do all this," Sanaa told him one night at 3 in the morning. "You have to work tomorrow." "So do you," Logan pointed out. She was on maternity leave but still doing work for the outreach program remotely. "We're partners. Partners share the load." Amara was an excellent big sister. She helped fetch diapers, sang songs to James when he cried, and proudly told everyone at school about her baby brother. Watching her daughter be so gentle and caring made Sanaa's heart swell. When James was 3 months old, Sanaa returned to teaching. It was hard leaving him, but the school's daycare was on site, and she could visit during her lunch break. Plus she loved her job. Loved watching third graders discover the joy of reading, loved helping them understand math, loved being part of their growth. "You're glowing," Nicole told her one Saturday when they met for coffee. "Married life and motherhood look good on you." "I feel good," Sanaa admitted. "Better than I ever thought possible." "Remember when you thought you'd never be happy again? Look at you now." "I almost didn't grab his hand that night," Sanaa said quietly. "I almost just let Trevor back into my life because I was too scared to ask a stranger for help. But you did grab his hand. You were brave when it mattered." Nicole squeezed her arm. "That's what I love about you. You've always been stronger than you thought." Life settled into a new normal. Logan's company continued to grow, but he made sure to keep work-life balance. He was home for dinner every night, helped with homework, played with the kids. On weekends they went to the park or the zoo or just stayed home together. Sanaa taught during the school year and spent summers with the kids. She'd gotten her master's degree online and was now helping develop curriculum for the district. Logan supported every goal, every dream, every ambition. "You could run the whole school system someday," he told her. "I don't want to run the system. I want to be in the classroom with the kids." She smiled. "That's where I'm happiest." "Then that's where you should be." When James turned 1, they had a big party in their backyard. Family, friends, colleagues, all the people who'd been part of their journey. Sanaa looked around at the gathering and felt overwhelmed with gratitude. Her mother was playing with Amara. Nicole was chatting with Jerome. Patricia the lawyer was cooing over baby James. Logan was manning the grill, laughing at something one of his friends said. This was her life. These were her people. This was happiness. Logan caught her eye across the yard and smiled. That smile that was only for her. The one that said I love you and I see you and I'm so glad you're mine. She smiled back, her heart full to bursting. That evening, after the guests had left and the kids were in bed, Sanaa and Logan sat on the porch swing in the backyard. The sky was clear, full of stars. Thank you, Sanaa said quietly. For what? For everything. For the party, for this life, for loving me. You don't have to thank me for loving you. That's the easiest thing I've ever done. Logan pulled her close. I'm the one who should be thanking you. You took a chance on a stranger at a gala. You trusted me when you had no reason to. You let me into your heart even though it had been broken. Best decision I ever made. Want to know a secret? Logan's voice was soft. That night at the gala when you grabbed my hand, I'd actually been watching you for about 20 minutes. I kept trying to work up the courage to say hello, to tell you I'd seen you in the coffee shop years before. But I was too nervous. I thought you'd think I was creepy. You were watching me? Not in a stalker way. When I walked into that ballroom and saw you standing there in that red dress, I couldn't look away. You were the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. And then when you grabbed my hand, it felt like destiny. Like the universe was giving me permission to finally talk to you. Sanaa turned to look at him. You never told me that part. I was embarrassed. But now, 5 years after seeing you for the first time, 3 years married, 2 kids, I figure I can admit it. I was smitten from the very beginning. I fell in love with you slowly, Sanaa admitted. I was so scared of being hurt again that I kept waiting for you to turn into Trevor. To show your true colors. But you never did. You just kept being kind and patient and real. And one day I woke up and realized I loved you more than I'd ever loved anyone. When was that day? The day you got down on your knees to help Amara tie her shoes. You were in a $3,000 suit about to go to an important meeting, and you knelt down on our apartment floor without hesitation because my daughter needed help. That's when I knew I was going to marry you. Logan's eyes were bright with emotion. I remember that day. I was late to the meeting because of traffic and Jerome was mad at me. But I didn't care. Helping Amara was more important than any business deal. That's why I love you. Because you understand what actually matters. They sat in comfortable silence, swinging gently, listening to the crickets sing. Inside the house, their children slept safely. Around them, the life they'd built together hummed with contentment. Do you ever think about where you'd be if you hadn't grabbed my hand? Logan asked. Sanaa considered. Probably still trapped in some way. Either with Trevor or just in my own fear. You gave me permission to want more. To believe I deserved more. You always deserved more. I just helped you see it. We helped each other. More silence, peaceful and full. Sanaa. Yeah. I'm really happy. She smiled and rested her head on his shoulder. Me too. Happier than I ever thought I could be. Think we'll still be this happy in 20 years? I think we'll be even happier. Because we'll have more memories, more inside jokes, more life lived together. And more kids. Logan asked hopefully. Sanaa laughed. Let's see how we do with these 2 first. Fair enough. As they sat under the stars, Sanaa thought about her journey. From a scared pregnant woman in a coffee shop to a confident teacher and mother. From a woman who didn't know her own worth to someone who stood tall in her strength. She thought about Trevor hopefully becoming a better person in prison. She thought about Vanessa, learning that obsession and manipulation don't lead to happiness. She sent them both silent wishes for healing and growth. Because that's what love had taught her. Real love doesn't hold grudges or seek revenge. Real love forgives not for the other person but for yourself. Real love sets you free. Logan. Oh. Thank you for waiting for me. For all those years before we met, and for all the patience after. I'd wait forever for you. Still would. He kissed the top of her head. You're worth every second. Inside, baby James started crying, his hungry cry echoing through the monitor. Sanaa started to get up but Logan stopped her. I've got him. You stay here and enjoy the quiet. Are you sure? Positive. I'll bring him out here if he wants to look at the stars with us. Logan went inside and Sanaa sat alone on the porch swing, listening to her husband soothe their son, hearing Amara turn over in her sleep, feeling the warm breeze of a perfect spring night. This was her life. The one she'd fought for. The one she believed in when everything seemed impossible. The one that started with a desperate grab of a stranger's hand and turned into forever. She'd been broken and made herself whole. She'd been lost and found her way home. She'd been afraid and chosen bravery. And in choosing to ask for help, in choosing to trust again, in choosing love over fear, she'd found everything she'd ever wanted. Logan came back out carrying James, who was now quiet and content. He sat back down beside Sanaa, and she cuddled against him, looking at their son's peaceful face. Perfect night, Logan murmured. Perfect life, Sanaa corrected. And as they sat there together, a family created from courage and kindness, from second chances and steady hands, Sanaa knew one thing for certain. She'd grabbed a stranger's hand in desperation. But that stranger had become her husband, her partner, her love. That moment of fear had led to a lifetime of joy. Some people spend their whole lives searching for their person. Sanaa had found hers in the most unlikely way. And she'd never let go. Because that's what love is. It's holding on when it's scary. It's trusting when you've been broken. It's believing in happiness even when you've known despair. It's grabbing a hand in the dark and finding out it belongs to someone who'll walk beside you into the light. It's forever beginning right now in this moment with these people in this beautiful, imperfect, absolutely perfect life. And Sanaa Johnson Bennett, formerly trapped and terrified, now free and cherished, had never been more grateful for a single moment of desperate bravery. She'd reached out. And love had reached back.